Paul, now let's go to R. Kelly. He wants to shake up his defense team 2 months before, okay, 2 months before his federal case goes to trial. Now, his lawyers filed a motion trying to get off the case, saying it'll be impossible for them to properly represent Kelly under the current circumstances. And one of the attorneys that Kelly fired, Steve Greenberg, tweeted, "Sometimes you can't save someone from themselves." Right? So the judge hasn't granted the motion and requested more details, but isn't there some sort of an ethical duty to stay on the case given how close the trial is?
Well, certainly there is generally, but there are extenuating circumstances. And I've certainly seen, as I'm sure you have, lots of cases where the defendant is frustrated with their counsel, and certainly vice versa, where counsel is frustrated with their defendant as well. What's really behind all of this and the decision that this judge has to make is whether or not, if they change out counsel this close to trial, if that's going to translate into a delay. And that raises a couple of other issues, especially in this case, because in this case, he's in custody. So that means one of two things. One, it raises the issue of him having access to a speedy trial, and that goes out the window because this is your motion as a defendant. But secondarily, it allows him to serve more time because here's the kicker. If he's convicted, he will get credit for time served for all of the time that he is already in custody. Now, certainly the judge is weighing and evaluating all of that as he's making a decision. And this close to trial, he's got to weigh more heavily than not whether or not switching out the counsel will be the basis for a delay in the trial, because then the new attorneys will come in and say, oh, we're not ready and we need more time. Otherwise, it's ineffective assistance of counsel. What I would likely do if I were that judge would be to keep them on the trial, because there's a trial of now it sounds like at least 4 people, but make them play a secondary role, which is what it sounds like. That's what R. Kelly wants to do anyway, is to take the lead from the folks that he's brought in, whom his current counsel have said don't have enough federal experience, because remember, this is a federal review case. This is a federal trial. And so they don't want to be lead. They don't want to be affiliated with the case altogether, and they want to lead. I'm sure the judge is asking questions like, have you been paid already? Have you received the money? You've already made commitments both to this court and to R. Kelly that you would represent him, and now you want to leave. That's a problem. But those are all the things that the judge is evaluating as he's making a decision as to whether or not to allow them to withdraw, or what role they will play in the upcoming trial that's still scheduled for less than 2 months now to take place and begin.
And we will be covering that case. All right, BNC's legal contributor and veteran prosecutor, Paul Henderson. Thanks for hanging out with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Paul, now,